Are you with us, John?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Did you get to see the music?
The tail end of it.
Okay. Well, I can't restart the show. From now on, we've got it so it adds up and you're supposed to hear it clearer. So,
okay.
And it played a double soundtrack.
It did? I don't know about that. Okay.
Oh, never mind it. That was my fault. So, okay.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. All right, everybody. How you doing?
Doing good.
Doing all right.
Yeah, it's been quite an interesting thing here. No, I can't do that. Nope, I can't do that. All right. I was trying to do something, but it wouldn't let me. That's okay. No biggie. All right. It's Monday. Yeah, it feels like Monday, doesn't it? It's Thursday. That means it's time for reviews. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll let you start, Chris.
I was changing my thing here. That's better. Okay. All right. We start out with Creature Commandos number 5. Publishers DC Comics. Writer is David Dastmalchian. Yes. Artist is Jesus Hervas. Colorist is Alex Guimares. Lettering is Ferran Delgado. Cover artist is Tirso. Editor is Katie Kubert. Genre horror superhero. Release February 19th, 2025. What it is all about. Sink your fangs into the penultimate chapter of David Dastmalchian and Jesus Hervas' twisted tale. Haunted by her past, Dr. West, needs this mission to succeed for all her sacrifices to be worth it. The commandos she's assembled are a deadly team. But what happens when they're up against a robot army immune to their monstrous powers? So what I thought, this was kind of an incoherent mess to me. It just kind of threw concepts and story plots together in a blender and hit the power. The art style was incredibly distracting to me. I'm not saying it was horrible, but it was just really chaotic. I love this concept. And the series could be amazing if it seemed like DC gave even half a damn about it.
You can tell he doesn't like this book. What do I think? I think just reading it as a single issue, yes, it's a chaotic mess. And given that this book has been coming out bi-monthly, why is it coming out bi-monthly, DC? It would be difficult for people to necessarily remember the story arc. Couple that with the fact that the characters are smack dab in the middle of a chaotic fight with an robot army and their powers aren't working to expectation, then yeah, it's pretty much like just describes. The book's a chaotic mess. I do think that Dastmalchian does care, and if the book coming out on a regular basis instead of every 6 to 8 weeks, so that we might have been reviewing it regularly and remembered it, because the last time we reviewed the series was last year. Maybe your reaction would have been different, Chris. I don't know. Hard to say. I presume that what you want, though, is the version that the Max DC animated series that James Gunn was doing.
Not necessarily. No.
No? Okay.
No, not necessarily. No.
All right. Then I take that back. But this certainly wasn't that anyway. So maybe it was a little bit disappointing. I don't know. But we both gave it 3 out of 5, and I don't even know why you gave it 3.
Because I love the concept. I like the characters. It's just the story and the art were just really kind of a mess to me.
Okay.
I think if it had different art or even different coloring, I'm not sure. And the story was more coherent, it was more structured, it would be a different rating.
You're having a lot of trouble tonight, aren't you, John?
Yep, no sound.
Yeah, you muted yourself, John, so I can't tell. He's just trying to get his.
We need to start a GoFundMe for John to get a new laptop.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah, I'm on my cell phone because my laptop, it's looping, trying to restart. So I moved out here to my regular TV so I can throw this up on the TV so I could actually read the text that I'm going to have to read. So
okay, cool.
So there you go.
And for just 50 cents a day, you can support this creator and buy him a new laptop. In the arms of an angel.
Can you hear me?
Say it again. No. Don't adjust it. Just speak.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yep,
we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I give up. So let's just go on.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next one, and that would be the Crow Flesh and Blood. You want to do that one too, Chris?
Sure. This is from publisher Sumerian Comics. This is apparently a reprint of a much, much older version with a pretty new cover. Writer James Vance, artist Alex Maleev, lettering Dan Burr, cover artist Suspiria Vilches, editor, who knows, genre supernatural crime noir. Release date February 26, 2025. This is rating of Teen Plus. And what this is about. This is returning to print in comic book format for the first time since 1996. Against the rugged beauty of the Western Mountains, Iris Shah, a federal conservation officer, is murdered when the right-wing extremists blow up her office. But her death is only part of the tragedy. She was carrying an unborn child. Denied peace, Iris is resurrected by the Crow to seek brutal vengeance on the men who stole her life and future. Now, driven by supernatural fury, she hunts them down one by one, delivering justice from beyond the grave. What I thought was artistically amazing. Though I'm not sure how you gauged it, Lewis, but it felt like some of the actual frames were like photos that were just blackened. I mean, did you get that sense?
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay, yeah. And the story, on the other hand, it's a swing and a miss on this one. I hate when characters are just like in a situation with no explanation as to how they got there, and the story has that in spades. The heroine is just kind of like where she is when she needs to be there, along with whatever bad guy she's supposed to make a speech at and then kill. The bad guys of the story, well, I guess they were being casually restricted from their ne'er-do-wellings and decided to rape and kill her. There's also a guy that seems to be the head of the organization, but is a family man as well. So it's just a whole lot of nonsense to me.
Okay. But I thought, silly me didn't know that this was a 1996 story. I thought it was something new. That's probably because at the time I was in 96, I was living out in Nevada and I didn't have access to any real comic shops. So I just didn't realize it was out there. Anyway, love the cover by Vilches. That was a selling point for me. That was what I thought Chris would dig it, because I figured he'd dig the Crow, and I'm like, that's a really cool cover. I'm kind of surprised that Chris doesn't seem to like the issue. I sort of get where he thinks the character is raped, but I didn't perceive it as such. It sounded the way I got it was more like her boyfriend who didn't want to commit to her.
I got that too. Yeah.
Okay. She was blown up by the guy she was stopping from poisoning the waters to kill the coyotes because they would be facing federal charges. And they did assault her and hospitalize her, but they didn't like show her in the hospital. They just kind of like did a flashback sequence to that. But maybe she was sexually assaulted at that point too, and we just missed that. So it was, like you say, it's a little confusing. I thought the script advance was moderately okay with some pacing hiccups here and there. As for Alex Believe's art, it is just amazing. And given that this is one of his earliest efforts in comics, I have to say it looks so damn well done that it looks like a seasoned veteran did it. There are story pacing issues, but for a person doing maybe his 5th comic issue ever, it's really, you really can't knock it as far as the storytelling goes. Now, as far as what you were saying about the digital side, is it digital or is it photo composites or whatever? We'll look at that in just a second, but you gave it a 3, I gave it a 4. Why'd you give it a 3, Chris? Just the story?
I gave it a 3 strictly because I love the art. The story just didn't do it for me. It just felt thrown together. I don't know. It just really didn't dig with me. So
yeah, I'm really, the art is really nice. Let's take a look at the art real quick.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Oh my god.
Now, the part that you're thinking is digital is like the buildings.
No, some of the cars, I think, where they were like all blacked out. I don't know if you have those panels or not. But...
Okay, I don't think I do. Okay, because I was looking at when you look at these windows and the frames of the outlines of the building, right. Those are actual. That is a photo of a building, but he traced it by hand. I think it's not digital.
I can see what you're talking about.
Because in '96, we didn't really have the technology we do now.
Photoshop was out then. I mean, I'm not saying he probably lightboarded it then, right?
Yeah, I'd say he lightboarded it and then did some different texture layers over it. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, Photoshop existed back then, so it could be digital. I'm not saying it's not digital. But looking at it, it just feels more organic to me than a digital composite for what was available for the technology back then.
It's still extremely well done. So
yes,
no complaints.
Right.
It's just something that kind of stuck out to me.
Like this page on the right is definitely Photoshopped for it's got that filter over there to lighten up everything.
Right.
So it's not like they didn't use any Photoshop. There's certainly some in here.
Right.
But I don't think he necessarily Photoshopped like the tone of Spot. It's not dot matrix over here by the crow. It's like when you take your thumb against the brush and splatter it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speckling. Yeah.
Yeah. Speckling. So that's what it looks like more. It looks more natural with some filter on it, but I don't think it's something that was necessarily done by computer necessarily.
Okay.
And then there's different things in here that just the line weight just looks like something that's more natural than something that's more digital. Because if you're going to do digital, most people are going to do digital full lengths.
Right.
And that I just don't think that was being done back then. Do you plan on reading any more of this one or not?
Oh, absolutely. I want to see if it gets better. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I am a huge fan of the Crows. So, it's just the way this story came together didn't strike a chord with me.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Our next one is Dark Pyramid. I guess I'll read this one. We don't want to let Chris's voice go out too fast. $4.99. Publishers Mad Cave Studios, writer Paul Tobin, artist PJ Holden, with colors by Sarah Colella, and lettering by Taylor Esposito. There's multiple cover artists, including PJ Holden, John McCrae, Allison Sampson, and a fourth one that I didn't write down because I didn't realize it was there until after I'd done the artwork for this whole thing. The editor is Christina Harrington. Genre is science fiction, supernatural horror. Released March 12th, 2025, with a rating of Teen Plus. What's it about? Wookie Hidalgo, adventurous and popular live streamer, has gone missing while climbing Mount Denali in Alaska. When his girlfriend Becca arrives at the base of the mountain to retrace his steps, she soon discovers something beyond the dreamy and impressive landscape. The conspiracy lies deep within the heart of Denali itself, a dark pyramid, silent, waiting. Becca and the scores of Bookie fans determined to either find him or find some fun, will face death, avalanches, and monsters to find the truth. And this is the McCrae cover. Chris, what do you think?
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay.
No problem.
I really thought this was kind of a breath of fresh air to me. I can completely get behind some dumbass, adrenaline junkie social media influencer disappearing after finding a lost rune and his girlfriend racing and going to find him. What is the secret they're going to uncover? I have ideas, but I'm still enthusiastic about finding out. The comic was actually genuinely creepy to me, which doesn't happen very often because I'm a, dyed-in-the-wool hardcore horror fan. So I'm not sure why it worked so well. It might have been a combination of the art and the writing and everything, but, it worked really well for me. So all in all, I would highly recommend this book.
Okay, and here's the monster that's like dangling off the dark pyramid that's creeping him out. And now, my turn. Love this Allison Sampson cover. I wish I'd known it existed because this is the cover I would have gotten instead. I got the first one. That's about the only thing I can really see I really like, though, unfortunately. The first page made little sense to me. You don't use your cell phone as a light for your GoPro camera as you mountain climb. In my opinion, I can't see someone doing that logically. One, it's an incredibly stupid and quick way to spend your battery. Two, it's kind of dumb to have your camera strapped to your forehead where the GoPro cam should be. Three, if you're going to do a live feed, you have it set up from your cam and wear a proper headlamp for climbing. Now, I'm not saying that what is depicted in the book isn't plausible. It's that no one would ever do it. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me doing it. You have to be a dumbass to do it that way. You want your cell phone safely tucked away for emergency outreach, right?
Right.
Doesn't that make sense, Chris?
Yeah, you're right.
Then to have Hidalgo fall in the manner in which he does, which he falls like who knows how many feet, but it's like he tumbles all over the place. And yet somehow he lands at the bottom of the place he lands before his camera and his phone do. And the phone would no way have survived such a fall. I've dropped a phone from less than 5 foot and it's completely shattered to pieces.
Maybe he had a really good case.
What was his case made out of? Super Bowl.
And he would have had to land in soft snow for him to survive, so maybe that's why the phone survived.
Yeah, I don't know. It was not good. Just don't give me no shit that it's tumbling down the side of a mountain with no damage and the feed's still on. No, I don't buy that. It's like, come on, Paul Tobin, you're a better writer than this. The story of Becca racing out to the area to go to try and find her missing boyfriend, that's engaging enough. Unfortunately, most of the story he set up is complete nonsensical drivel just to get the plot to where he wants to take the character. Hold on, let me get I gotta take off my common sense meter. I'll put it over here. Look at this. Oh, hey, this is a good story now. Once you get to the height of the moment where Becca and her newfound companion, who is trying to get her out of danger, are confronted by whatever this creature is, a shaggy man, an alien, a deformed monstrous version of Hookie Hidalgo. They don't say yet because that's the cliffhanger at the end of the issue. Just that little bit of part's fine, but all the stuff leading up to this had my eyes rolling, especially the cops. Don't tell me that some guy who's like a social influencer, who's all over YouTube, has gone missing, and you've got hundreds of people who have come to town to do a search party for him. No, we don't need to do a search party. Or, oh, we made a mistake. We're going to give you the keys to my cousin's or my sister's cabin out in the middle of the woods. No, all of his friends, all the people that watch his show that are there in town, that have taken up all the hotel rooms and everything, aren't they going to know who she is and like offer her a place to stay? So little things like that, just like, yeah, you're just writing the plot to get it to wherever you're getting it to. But anyway, you gave it a 4.5.
I did.
This is your kind of comic, or your
Yes.
your thing. I had to give it a 2. I hope it's better in the next issue.
I have a feeling that things are going to work out. Like, it's going to be explained why the cops were like, no, we don't want to search after him, and all that stuff. I think it goes beyond just, asshole small town cop thing,
Right. Well, no, I agree with that. What I'm saying is, it just didn't quite hold up overall for me. It's just, I'm like, nah. It's kind of like how James Vance's script for Crow didn't work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just reversed, basically.
Yep.
So, okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. There you go, John. It's your turn.
All right. Disney's Zootopia, number 1 and 2. Publisher Dynamite Entertainment. Writer Jeff Parker. Artists are Alessandro Rinaldi and Diarbola Kelly. On colors, lettering Jeff Eckelberry. Cover artist Trish Forstner. Editor Nate Cosby. Genre comedy crime. Release date January 2025. Rating teen. What it's about. It's another beautiful day in the bustling city of Zootopia, where every animal is free to strive to realize their full potential. And one of the most successful of those strivers is Trip Zebrando, owner of the PB&J cell phone company. PB&J's high-tech devices are the must-have accessories for every species in town, and Trip is about to launch their latest a huge publicity event timed for the arrival of the first shipment of phones.
1 minute. My computer's. There we go.
Maybe that's the phone Hookie had.
Yeah, there you go. You had a kitty phone.
Phones at the airport. Yeah. I bet it cost a lot of bread, though. Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of dough.
Unfortunately, somebody has it in for PB&J or Trip or both, and the resulting sabotage threatens to bring the house down right on top of the unsuspecting crowd. Luckily, ZPD's finest in the form of officers Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are on the scene, ready to keep the peace or at least contain the chaos. But what they're about to discover in the aftermath of this seemingly isolated incident will lead them into a much larger and more complicated case. Acclaimed author Jeff Parker of Negaduck and Batman 66 partners up with renowned artist Alessandro Rinaldi, Disney Villains Hades, which I haven't read yet, to bring the captivating world of Disney's Zootopia to comic book life with this all-new mystery adventure featuring courtroom-quality covers from Rinaldi, Trish Forstner, whose cover you're seeing right now, Craig Rousseau, and more. So what I thought. So anybody who knows me, I am a huge Disney fan. And as much of a Disney fan, of Disney animation fan as I am, I do feel that for the most part, things have gone downhill since Zootopia was released in 2016. Now, yeah, some films such as Moana and Encanto are okay, but other films such as Strange World and Wish just completely left me cold. And let's not get started on The Lion King because, oh boy. But Zootopia is the last Disney animated film that truly wowed me. In fact, Lewis and I saw it together in the theater. I think it's one of current Disney's very best films. It's funny and heartfelt. It has something to say about prejudice. It's got great characters and a world that you can tell a lot of thought went into. I was looking forward to this comic like a lot. So what do I think of it so far? It's okay. The story, which involves a phone sabotage at the airport and a break-in at the city recycling depot, it's fun. I mean, it really doesn't have the social commentary that the movie has, but it does have some nice interplay between Nick and Judy, and it's nicely paced. It's a fun story, but the artwork, however, I find to be a mixed bag. Rinaldi's style, I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm not in love with it either. Again, rather nonplussed. To me, it's just average. I mean, and I noticed that there is a lot of digital duo shading used here, and I had to ask Lewis what was going on. And when I say a lot, I mean that it's used in varying degrees on practically every page.
And this is the Rousseau cover for number 1.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And I can't help but feel that it was that digital duo shading was overused. And for some pages, it would have just sufficed to have the darkened colors for shading. But I am still enjoying the series, mainly on the strength of the story and Nick and Judy's banter. So I will continue to read and see where things go from here. And I do have to say, I do love Forstner's covers. But I mean, like, look at this Craig Rousseau cover, and there's another one he did for issue 2 with Nick Wilde, and it's like his color bleed colors. Like, to me, these are the kind of covers that really stand out on the shelf and make you take notice. And like I've noticed, I've seen these covers on the stand at our shop, Scratch and Spin, and it's like my eye goes right to them on the.
Okay.
So
you there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you. The dot matrix duo shading was overdone, and there were other ways to handle things. But for what it's worth, the artist was reasonably consistent in their use of the technique throughout the book. So, if he's consistent in doing it where he does it, even if it's to an excess, I can't really say, it's artistic license, and if the other editor who's actually editing the book isn't going to bitch about it, what can I tell you? Chris would say the artist fell in love with their digital brush a little too much. It's just something that happens with modern comics due to the over-reliance on digital technology. I agree with you. The covers are cool, especially what I call the camouflage covers. You call it color bleed, I call it camouflage. But that's me. By Craig Rousseau. I thought Craig was doing the interior art. I was a little bit disappointed he wasn't. He's doing Herculoids.
I wish he had.
Yeah, but Craig's doing Herculoids, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep.
These are the other covers. This is for number 2.
See, look at that Nick Wilde cover. I love that cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice. And this and the funny thing is that this is not some sort of like digital weirdo thing that Craig does. Craig usually does these kind of covers for sketch commissions. That's where it came from. He drew the character and bleed him onto the paper because he used to draw them on Canson paper, colored Canson paper. So he does that kind of thing all the time, and this is just like a digital version of that. So it's pretty cool. I'm not as big a fan of this cover with the flashlight thing, though.
It overly relies on. I'm sorry, but shading should never be black ever. The only black on the page should be the ink. Yeah, and this shading is definitely black. So
okay. So, you gave it a 3.5. I'll give it a 3. Let's take a look at some of the art to see what he was talking about. It's kind of hard to tell in some of these pages. I'm going to try and bring them up close here. There's like a duo shade tone over the background on this square behind them. There's a little bit of duo shade right underneath her vest to just a shadow. There's a little bit of duo shade in her ears that didn't necessarily need to be there. There's the way they do the crowd cover is a little bit. It's like there's a little digital speckle around it, spots. Yep. Then you got it again, a little bit digital speckle on her cell phone. Is that really necessary? Probably not. And there's like a little, there's just a little box of digital dot matrix, dot matrix, dot matrix, dot matrix. It's like, is this stuff really necessary? No,
it doesn't even go with the style of art.
Right. So it's like, why is that there? Now here on this
that
page,
makes no sense to me right there.
That too, right there, that doesn't make any sense to you?
That makes zero sense to me.
Okay, well, you're the colorist. I'll acquiesce to you on that one, I guess. I mean, I don't see a problem with it, but I'm looking from it. I guess I'm looking from it from the line art perspective. I could see it possibly, but like you say, it doesn't fit the rest necessarily. And then again,
go ahead.
Here you go, nice gray coloring here, but now let's put the little duo shade back in the armpit that didn't need to be there, or underneath her vest that doesn't necessarily need to be there.
Right.
A little bit of it on a zebra. By the way, does a zebra remind you of a certain actor?
Chris Tucker?
Yep. I was either thinking Chris Tucker, or I was thinking the other Chris that's a comedian, black comedian.
Chris
Rock.
Yeah. I was like, it's either one of those two is like got to be the model for this character.
Right.
Okay.
Chris Rock has played a zebra before.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, is that the zebra?
But with that panel, like, why is there a halo, a glowing halo around the characters, and why is there? I call it zipatone. Why is there that type of shading over the glow? Like, it just makes no sense to me.
If it was behind, if it was just on the figures, you'd understand it. But why is it going over the glow as well?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And as a colorist, I hate halos.
Yeah. So there's a very, very good. That was basically what John was complaining about, and it's a valid question on that. But let's put it this way: at least the word balloons are solid.
Yes,
that's true.
On almost every other Dynamite Disney comic, you can see through the freaking word balloons in the background. So I'm like, hey, they got that right anyway. I did think it was kind of funny that they put the digital dot matrix in outside on this one. I thought that was kind of funny.
That kind of works on that panel, though.
Yeah, it does. It does work on that panel. But I love this. No, my initial shipment. I mean, my precious crew whose lives I value. Because that's his. That was his airship. The crew, they made it out. I don't know how they could have made it out, but okay, they must have because it's a Disney book.
Right.
My Sky Cow. You're what? That's the name of my ship, or it was. and again, you got this. It's like there's like multiple levels of duo shade, like in color, right here, and then another one here, and then more back here. Is like just go with the color. Don't do these little weird extra shadings that don't necessarily need to be there that way. But I do like how the eyes are balling out like waterfalls. That is a cute thing there. But
I mean, the art is nice. The character models are on point. You know, everything just works except for that freaking digital zipatone crap.
Yep. Okay, next one. Green Lantern Corps number 2 for $3.99. Publisher DC Comics. Writer Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton. Artists are Fernando Pasquin for pencils and Claire Albert for inks. Colors is Arif Prianto with lettering by Dave Sharp. Cover artists. I think there's a bunch of different ones. This is not the same group of cover artists. I forgot to change it over. That's from number 1. But there's like 3 or 4 other ones. This is the one from Pasquin and Albert that's being shown. The editors are Paul Kaminsky, Kathleen Wisniewski, Marquis Draper, and Gillian Grant. Genre science fiction superhero, released March 12th, 2025, was about the Lanterns' return to Thanagar, which is a planet of the Hawk people, for those who don't know, which has been decimated in the aftermath of the Civil War or Civil Corps War. But this time, John Stewart and company have Hawk Girl with her, or Hawk Woman with them by their side. Meanwhile, the mystery of the fractal lanterns deepens as Atrocitus seeks revenge for the theft of his powers. And why is the answer to that seemingly within the remains of the shattered Thanagar? What did I think? When I reviewed number 1, I was a bit annoyed because of someone else's nonsensical review of the book on another Comics Tube channel. This time I made sure not to bother listening to said individual before I read my copy. Because otherwise I'd probably hate it even worse. or be hating him. Anyway, this is a fairly solid story. The characters all seem to be on point. The cover depicted here has nothing to do whatsoever with the story inside. I don't even think Guy Gardner's even in the issue. So I do feel like that's a wasted image and should have been saved for a different time. But everything else, overall, I thought was fine, but therein lies the problem. It's just fine. The only thing that really caught my attention was the Razor, who, if you watched the GL animated series, was a Red Lantern. Now he's a Green Lantern, and he's trying to learn how to control his powers and figure out how Will can control all the different variations of mood swings that you can have. Again, I'm not a big fan of the whole mood ring brigades nonsense. I think it's one of the stupidest things that DC ever came up with, but they're going to do what they're going to do. But the art is very nice. It's well designed, well paced in terms of story, but with enough certain panels to make you want to linger on the occasional image just to enjoy looking at it for a few extra moments before you continue on or look back on after you've read the full story. All in all, it holds up better than issue number 1 did, and I give it a 3.5. Chris, did you bother reading this one?
I did not get to this one. I was trying to, did not get a chance.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and move on from there because I didn't save any art. Goosebumps, The Haunted Mask for $12.99 trade paperback from Scholastic Graphix. Writer R.L. Stein with adaptation from Maddie Gonzalez. Colorists are Corey and Amanda Barba. Lettering by Jesse Post. Editor Anna Bloom. Genre Kids Horror. Released September 3rd, 2024. Age rating 10 and up. What's it about? Adapted from the classic story from R.L. Stein from the 1990s that has also been adapted into the live-action TV series, adapted into animation. This is basically the quintessential Goosebumps story. Carly Beth needs the perfect Halloween mask. one that will scare everyone she comes across, including her annoying little brother and the bullies at school. A visit to a strange costume store provides just the right one. An ugly green goblin with fierce fangs. The mask makes Carly Beth feel powerful and scary. But when the mask won't come off, will the monster take over?
Silver Shamrock.
Yes. Every day is Halloween. Not 30 days to Halloween. Every day is Halloween.
Right.
Halloween. Anyway, I never got into the highly successful Goosebumps franchise as the prose fiction books when they came out, because when they came out, I was already in college, and it's more for the age of 9 to 13. I wasn't the target audience, so I just didn't really ever gravitate toward it. But in the search for good kids comics, I figured, let me check this one out. It has to be good, right? It's Goosebumps, right? I have to say, it's a great book. Gonzalez's art is really well executed. The coloring is nice. It's a perfect read for preteens. I would love to see more of these from Scholastic. This was their first graphic novel under the Goosebumps brand. I don't know if there's been any more since. But given how popular the regular prose books have been over the decades, I do wonder if there would be resistance from audiences, since parents would probably want their children to read prose versions of the stories instead. So that might mean getting some original stories out of Stein that aren't already completed in order to get people more interested in, getting it graphic novel wise. I don't know. Because, obviously Scholastic's going to be marketing both the prose and the comics.
Right.
Love the cover. Love the expression on her eyes on the cover. It looks like, so just like she looks more evil than the monster does in a way. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a quick look here at the actual book.
Yeah, very nice.
I mean, this is the stuff that, our good friend David Campini would be like going, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is how it's supposed to be.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice art.
They make, they pick on her, at lunchtime and humiliate her.
As mean girls will do.
Actually, it's the boys picking on her, but that's not. But they made her eat worms.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's part of why she's like, I want revenge. And she's in the store, and she's talking to the guy who kind of looks like a vampire of a sort, or it's like kind of weirdo looking guy here.
Kind of looks like Stein.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well, no, the face does. Yes, that mask. But I'm talking about the guy with that looks like a vampire.
Oh yeah.
That's the store owner. She's like, let me see. I'm trying to find the. All right. She finds the mask, and he's like, "No, don't take that one. No. But she insists, and he's like, "All right, I warned you." Please, I got lots of money.
First of all, where does a kid get that much money?
Right.
And where does a shop owner get off selling unregistered masks to little kids?
Well, he was the extra on Halloween 3, like you said. But yeah, I mean, they just cool stuff overall. I want to get to where she's actually wearing the mask. Oh, gotta go back to the. Here we go. Now you see the head on the broomstick.
Mm-hmm.
That's her head.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and she's so like the mask actually becomes her head, and somehow her face, her visage becomes that.
That's cool.
So, and of course, when she realizes that she can't take the mask off, she's horrified, and she runs back to the store. What do we do? What do we do? Well, I told you not to take the hat. I told you to take that mask. You wore it too long. I can't get it off. So it's a cool story, and certainly worth the 5 stars. I give it. All right. Okay. Next one. There you go, John. Your turn.
HERCULOIDS. Publisher Dynamite. Writer Tom Snigoski. Artist Craig Rousseau. Color Ami Rimalante Jr. Lettering Jeff Eckelberry. The cover artists are Francesco Mattina, Felipe Massafera, Joseph Michael Linsner, Bjorn Behrens, and Mike Mignola. Editor Joseph Rybant, genre adventure fantasy sci-fi. Release date February 19th, 2025. Rating teen. What about? Hidden in the furthest reaches of space, the planet of Amzot is legendary for its fabled riches and for the terrible fates that befall anybody who seeks to exploit them. Those who survive their encounters tell blood-chilling tales of horrific, imposing monsters that guard the mysterious world. Yet the future of its abundant resources, the lure of its abundant resources is too great to resist. Raiders and pirates continue to come from across the galaxy, and there is only one force strong enough to stop their constant attacks, the HERCULOIDS. But as strong as these defenders are, a recent battle may have pushed Amzot to its limits and awakened a sleeping darkness within the planet itself. What did I think? Well, I'd been looking forward to this series ever since it was first announced. I was so looking forward, in fact, that I had Eric from the shop order the Blu-ray so I could have it and watch it. And if you're a fan of the HERCULOIDS cartoon, get the Blu-ray. Like, the series has never looked better in its life, and you will not be disappointed. But I digress. So for 2 reasons. First, the HERCULOIDS has always been one of my favorite of the Hanna-Barbera superhero cartoons of the 60s, thanks in large part to Alex Toth's fantastic character designs, which I feel still hold up today. And the plots of those shows were simple. You knew the HERCULOIDS would win in the end, and the show was and still is good, clean fun. Second, again, Craig Rousseau, and Lewis knows this, he is one of my all-time favorite comic artists, so I was really looking forward to seeing his work. And I feel that he was the right artist for the job, a feeling which was reinforced by looking at the cover gallery, because his 2 variant covers are the only ones I really dig. For the others, except for the Massafara, which I think is what we're looking at now, if I'm not mistaken, the designs just feel off to me on all the others, especially on the Mattina cover, which was, of course, the A cover. I do like what I don't think I said loathe, but I really don't like the way Gloop look, and not crazy about the humans either. But once again, I digress. Russo does a great job of honoring Toth's original designs while making the art his own. Snegusky's story is simply told and nicely paced, and while the action is kept at a family-friendly level, there is no doubt that the Herculoids are a force to be reckoned with. I think the series is off to a great start, and I look forward to more.
Okay. What I thought, after seeing how, for me, Dynamite botched Space Ghost and adulterized it way too much for my liking, I will say that writer Tom Signosky at least feels more akin to the tradition of what the concept was intended on Herculoids when it was Alex Toth and Company in the 60s. While I am a fan of Rousseau, and I do think he respects what Toth did, I'm not quite as high on the art as John is. The various covers, as you can see here, there's I'll try and close up here. There's, you know, you really can't see too much of them, but none of them are particularly great, to be honest. I mean, the Joseph Michael Linsner one isn't bad, but it's not like it wows you for what Joseph's used to doing. I never got to actually see a large version of the Magnolia cover, but that was probably the best of all of them, other than Rousseau himself. But like, here's the Rousseau covers over here on the left center. Those are the best ones. Those look like the cartoon. So, you know, there you go. I agree with you about Gloop and Gleep looking way too different in the Matina cover than what Toth designed. They look like serpentine creatures with Medusa-like tendrils and actually look frightening in comparison to the true designs, and it makes them look completely out of character. In my opinion, Rousseau's the only reason to buy the book. It's not that Signosky is a bad writer or that he's doing a bad job. Not at all. The issue is good. I just think the strength of the book so far is just Rousseau's art. With that having been said, I can't say the book's going to hold my interest beyond this introductory issue. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just isn't hitting the target for me. But I'm not the Herculoids fan that John is. So I think that's part of why it's not clicking for me, because I'm just not anywhere near as invested in the characters as John is. And there's just too many covers here.
And shout out to Ami Garmalati, because he's a friend and a colleague, fellow colorist.
Yes.
The guy really knows his stuff.
Yes, he does a great job on the colors. We'll get to that.
He's fantastic, yeah. So
yes, he does a nice job. John gave it a 4. I'll give it a 3.5. So see, it's not that I think the book sucks. It doesn't suck. It's above average. It's just not my thing, because it's just not quite. It's a lot closer than Space Ghost. Okay, if I had to say Herculoids or Space Ghost, Herculoids is up here and Space Ghost is down there.
Right, yeah. But Space Ghost was just really adulterized. Really let's go ahead and take a look at this artwork by Craig Rousseau with colors by Omi. And you know, they're talking about the aliens are like, oh, you know, we got attacked by the monsters. I really like Tundro, the way it's done here. I guess he was trying to like get some pineapple or something. Well, darn, I gotta go. Okay. But you know, just generally, I don't know how to read the Gloop and Gleep talk though.
I don't really either.
I mean, I just don't speak that language.
Well, he's obviously commenting on the socioeconomical, plight of the planet.
Yeah, I meant, how do you pronounce it?
Well, it's blurred, lippy, blurred. Or
Okay, well, at least you tried. I mean, how they do the sound effects for Gloop and Gleep on the TV show? I wish we should find out how they do that. But anyway,
to me, it always sounded like someone speaking backwards, like they played someone talking backwards.
That could be. Hey, we're going to suffocate you. Yeah. And of course, there's Zach and Xandor with his little thing. There's one question I do have to ask you, John.
What?
How come Xandor gets to have the kid's weapon with the slingshot and Dorno never gets to have any weapons at all?
Probably because Dorno's irresponsible. I don't know.
Yeah, I always felt like Dorno should have the slingshot, and that he should have had a sword or some other weapon that made more sense for an adult man to have. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just my I think that's, like I said, I was never a huge fan of the Hercules compared to others, but that's okay. I think it's all cool looking though, for what this is. I think Greg and Omi do a great job. Okay, next book, Cruel Kingdom #3 for $4.99. Publishers EC Comics / Oni Press. Various writers and artists, fantasy adventure, released March 12th, 2025. Yes, fair reader, the terrible wonders of this cruel kingdom are far from over. Steal thy wits from more tales of sadistic sorcery as forged in the foundries of the immortal pseudo EC tradition. And I do mean pseudo. Cover's nice. Too bad it belongs to more of a science fiction mag than a fantasy magazine. As many of the stories in this magazine feel like they're leftovers that didn't quite fit into their Cruel Universe book. That aside, let's just get to the stories. The first one is Just Desserts by Matt Bors and Valeria Burzo. I don't want to read a story about culinary voodoo and witchcraft. This is like watching an episode of Hell's Kitchen, medieval style. It's like, what the hell is this? No.
Well, I have to say, I fell asleep reading it too, a couple times.
The Feast of King Arthur is next. The art is more of the silly, cartoony style of Mad Magazine than that of a typical EC style story, and the title of the story gives the most obvious twist at the end of the story away before you even start the story. Basically, what happens is King Arthur's freed. He goes out to meet some kids, and they have him for dinner. It's technically an okay story, but honestly, I've had students in my junior high classes where I've taught them to do comics do better than this. So I'm not exactly thrilled. The last story, Heart of Ice, was really the only story that remotely deserved to be in the book. I'm not a fan of the coloring on that one, but everything else was reasonably well executed. I guess the cover was supposed to be a depiction for that story. Does that sound right to you, Chris?
Right.
But overall, it's just a very lackluster issue. Buy it if you want to keep the complete collection of the series, but if you're just buying as a casual reader, I would say skip it. I only give it a 2.5 stars. What do you give it, Chris?
I give it the same. The first issue was much better.
Yeah, the first 2 issues were better.
Yeah. I didn't read the second issue, but the first issue was definitely better. The King Arthur story, that, like you said, you saw it coming a mile away. Just looking at the art and looking at those kids, you're like, damn well they're going to eat them.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like, it wasn't just that. I mean, it was just like, yay! I'm teaching you. I'm here, King. Here's my amazing dishes to serve to you, Your Highness. And it's like whatever. well, we'll take it at offices. They don't know it's her doing it, and then oh hey, now it all tastes good. We all like it, you know. I just the kids are kind of weird looking, aren't they?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Here's our toilet in our bath.
Yes. Yeah, here you go, good king, sir. King Arthur, help us, sir. Now, we agree but you're gonna fix things, right? And we agree you are. It's all a bunch of blood and gore nonsense that I mean, if Wortham was alive today and this was being produced or back in the 50s and this is what the story they produced, yeah, this would have been like Exhibit A for Wortham. I mean, come on, that's worse than the covers that they were using on the exhibit,
right?
So it's like, yeah, I don't know what they're trying to prove with that one, but like I said, I did like the end of this one. Okay, the end of the story for the third one, the Heart of Ice, or was it Heart of Ice? Yeah, Heart of Ice. That's the only one I really liked out of all of them. So,
well, and you mentioned Wortham, so now you have to do 15 Hail Marys. Because he is the devil. He's a bad word in the comic book industry.
Oh, come here. Mr. Brat has to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Midnight Monster.
Yes, he wants his attention. You probably heard him whining from afar, but yeah, he's had a rough day today, folks. He threw up twice. He's just not having a good day.
Yeah, no, upset Tommy.
Lewis, wasn't there somebody who went by Wortham on the comic book resources chat?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember if it was Dr. Wortham or something to that effect. But yeah. But yeah.
And you know who Wortham is, right, John?
I'm trying to think. It's not ringing a bell.
Seduction of the Innocent. The guy who caused all the censorship.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the reason for the comic books code.
Okay.
More or less.
Right. Our next book is Galaxy of Madness number 6 and 7, $4.99 each. Mad K Studios, writer Magdalene Visaggio, artists are Michael Avon Oming for the covers and Victor Santos for interiors. Colorist is Taki Soma rather. Letterer Morgan Martinez, editor James B. Emmett. Science fiction action adventure, released February and March of 2025. What is it about? The crew of the Verisimilitude is back, and Vigil's search for her lost parents continues, while following their footsteps and trying to unlock the secrets and strangenesses of the universe. But will the team survive the madness of the galaxy? Within this spatial anomaly called the Mortal Divide, a reporter chases down the most extraordinary extraterrestrial story of her career, and an archaeologist tracks down her long-lost father on a mysterious and dangerous island. I don't know what it is, but once Michael Avon Oming stopped doing the interiors, I pretty much lost interest in the book. Not that Victor Santos is doing a bad job as the artist. He's not. It's just that I got the book for Avon Oming. And I'm not getting Avon Oming. So since that was the selling point, I get this one kind of out of habit just to get the rest of the story arc. And whenever the conclusion of this story arc will be, then I'll probably just bow out of the series. And maybe they'll go just that one length of series. Who knows? But I give it a 3 out of 5. It's an average comic. There's nothing inherently wrong. But I mean, this is the cover by Avon Oming rather.
They probably couldn't afford Oming for interiors. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, he co-created the book with the writer, so I can't understand why they couldn't afford. You know what I'm saying? Unless the book is selling that badly that it's not worth it.
Right.
But let me see here. I'm trying to find the right. There we go. Sorry about that. That was not a fart. Anyway. There's your cover by Avon Oeming. But there's your interior art. It doesn't look quite the same.
No.
And it's not bad. You know, it's fine for what it is. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this artwork.
But if you're expecting, you know, Oeming, then and you get a different type of artwork, it's understandable. So
right. So that's that. So there's that. Again, 3 out of 5. Not a bad rating by any means. Okay. Moving right along because we got more stuff to talk about. Huge Detective number 4 for $3.99. Titan Comics, writer Adam Rose with artist Magenta King, colorist Magenta King and Minnie Monet. Letterer is DC Hopkins. Couldn't find the editor's credits anywhere. I've looked and looked and looked. Anyway, science fiction crime mystery released February 12th of 2025. Well, it's about. Let me give you a quick recap of 1 through 3 since we haven't talked about this series in a while. Detective Giant found human and huge bodies in underground caverns beneath Belcher's Cave, but someone left booby traps that injured Giant and killed nearby humans. As human relationships with the huge break down, another Omega event threatens. Yet another war between the huge and humans would pale before an imminent impact event as a huge skeleton from the moon drifts towards Earth. Can FBI Captain Tamaki and Detective Giant work together to discover what happened at Belcher's Cave, prevent a war, and protect life on Earth from extinction? As this issue opens, Tamaki and Giant visit Mrs. Stubbs. They sit in the aircraft hangar where she raised Manny, which is another huge, like little, it's like a child version of the huge, which are like these giant, well, they're just giants, yeah, I guess, yeah. Call them like, I don't know, what would you call them other than just giants? I can't remember what they were called now, but it doesn't matter. She serves them
remnants of the Attack on Titan. I don't.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, she serves them tea and tells them about her past. Detective Giant found her business partner's body in Belcher's Cave. Her husband died during their early years of Dollsville, and basically, just she's just basically lollygagging them into things before she basically drops the bombshell on them. Detective Giant understands her concerns. The huge have strong olfactory systems, and the aroma of humans drives them wild. Although he denies it, he struggles not to think of eating humans when he's around them. He may have killed humans when his people arose and established Brahmandangnog. Mama Ding a Ding Dong. I don't know why they got to come up with silly names like that. But the huge wants to believe that he's better than that now. While Detective Giant learns the truth behind the mystery at Belcher's Cave, his human partner also faces the dilemma. Tamaki lost her mother during the Omega event, which is when all the giants came awake and started killing everything. Her father is now an empty shell, and she can barely stand to be around a member of any of the giants. But, this is the species that destroyed her life. She just wants to get back at them. So when a real threat reveals itself, which is Mrs. Biggs and the doctor, will she just stand by, or will she take a stand and try to save her partner? Now, what did I think? Since we've known since issue 2 who the real threat was, there's not a whole lot of reveal to be had. One of the problems when you're writing a whodunit with an all-seeing narrator is you risk revealing your true villain too far in advance, spoiling your actual moment of character revelation. Now, this is the penultimate issue. Number 5 is going to be the last issue. It's pretty much the time to do the reveal, but it's just waiting for the final issue now. There's nothing too special. The sad part is that it took 3 issues of setup, and they didn't throw the audience any red herrings or any other elements that a whodunit mystery should have. So now when you have your reveal, and number 5 is going to tie it off, it's just going to be like, where was the rest of the story? This is something I warned you all about back in January when I reviewed the first 3 issues. And I thought the book was moving too slow and they weren't going to get to the meat of the story, and they didn't. It looks like the potential of the story is going to go for naught. And I'm a little bit sad about that, but that's the way it is.
And that word, I knew I recognized that word, that Brobdingnagian, or it comes from the word Brobdingnagian, which means huge.
Right. Okay.
So it's just a little play on words.
Yeah. So I gave this one a 2.5 because I gave the first 3 issues 3, and this one just didn't even really play off the first 3. So I had to give it a little even less of a score. I'm afraid. So,
John, you got to start drinking coffee, buddy.
Yep.
Well, I had rehearsal today, so.
All right, John. This is one for you.
Usagi Yojimbo, 10,000 Plums, number 1. Publisher Dark Horse / Dogu Publishing. Writer-artist Stan Sakai. Colorist Emi Fuji. Cover Hi-Fi Studios Interior. Letterer Stan Sakai. Genre Fantasy Science Fiction. Release date March 5th, 2025. What it's about. One of the Shogun's samurai strongmen becomes immediately suspicious when Usagi, Yukichi, and Jin are found wandering in a huge field of the Shogun's prized plum trees. With a series of strange events gripping the local village with fear, can their appearance be a mere coincidence?
Well, it's Usagi Yojimbo. Do I even need to say it? I'm beginning to wonder if I can do no wrong. Perfection. 5 stars. I don't really need to say much more than that.
Nope.
And I know Chris is not really into Usagi, but that's fine, you know.
Yeah, Usagi's not my thing, but I will say Hi-Fi, Brian Miller, fantastic, color studio. So
Yep. This is like the first 2 pages leading into things. These are foxes. They've got the cub's got a sickness. The mother tries to get her to a place where they can get some help. And basically the pup loses its consciousness, and she has to drag it into a place to stay. And then she goes and tries to find some people in town, and she shapeshifts into an elderly woman looking for assistance to get medicine for her cub. And, that looks kind of cool, that, just shifting, the way it's done. So anyway, the reason that they're suspecting Usagi and friends is because that person right there is rejected by everybody in the town, and they won't give her any medicine. So she basically just burns her whole forest down in revenge. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
As shape-shifting mothers are wont to do,
Yeah. So it's like, it's a cool thing. So, but anyway, good stuff. 5 stars, like I say. You can't go wrong with Usagi. And that's pretty much our show for tonight. Lots of cool stuff to read. We didn't get to Herculoids 2 because it was supposed to come out this week, but our store didn't get their books from Diamond on time. They're supposed to arrive tomorrow. So, typical, thing. Otherwise, John probably would have had number 2 to do a review of on 2 as well.
Well, no, actually I couldn't, because I'm doing a high school production of Addams Family, and we had rehearsal today, because due to it being high school students. Rehearsals are in the afternoons, whether we're as if it were a community theater production, we would have had, I wouldn't be here right now because I'd probably be in rehearsal. But yeah, so I had to start work today so I wouldn't have to take any leave time. So I'm a little bit tired right now.
Okay, well, we're just about out of here, buddy. Okay, tomorrow night is horror night for Friday night movie, TV, animation discussion. Our topic is Robert Eggers' Nosferatu with Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, Bill Skarsgård, and Willem Dafoe. Mm-hmm. What will our review crew think? Tune in to find out tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week for our show, for Thursday night, we'll be reviewing Back Issue magazine, number 158, Shudder magazine, number 21, the graphic novels Dream Over, The Old Willis Place, and The Errand Boys. Welcome to the Maynard, number 4, Bug Wars, number 2, and more comics as well. Alrighty. Now, I know there's something missing, and it's typical that the machine does it, so let me go find it. I hate when it does this. Let's go here. Let's see if it's in here. It's not there. Interesting. Must be here then. Nope. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't know where it's at. They're hiding on me. Let's see. Crowdfunder Talk? No. Maybe it's in Crowdfunder Talk. Yep. There we go. Sorry about that. Like I said, my computer's being fussy. There we go. You want to reach us? You reach me at Lewis.BrightRaven on Facebook, at the Rough Scratch channel, at LewisBrightRaven2, DeviantArt.com/BrightRaven. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons here on YouTube, Quoth Raven, Lewis BrightRaven. If you have email questions, hit me up at quothravenlbr72@gmail.com. If I don't get back to you, try LewisBrightRaven@yahoo.com. Or if you want to talk to Chris, it's Christopher M. Hall, 1973@gmail.com. Or if you need to reach out to our resident music director and all-around fanboy, Ray Figaro at hotmail.com. That is all for tonight, folks. We'll see you next time. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
More.
Nevermore.